The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Tuesday night here on Beyond Wednesdays. We have a very special show tonight, you guys. This is going to be very interesting. I'm trying to get the lower chat to work because it's going to be moving tonight for sure. So we have big news in the comic book industry, but first let me introduce my two compadres, Mr. Jesse Criscione, Jesse James Comics, Dennis Barger, Wonderworld Comics, two longtime veterans in the industry of comics, and this is the Industry of Comics Show, episode 57. 57.
You know,
boys.
there's been a lot of memorable episodes. You know, the time that Jesse told us about the one time he worked in the corporate world, the time that Jesse broke new grounds by selling socks, and tonight's episode will be the three most remembered episodes in the entire first 57 episodes.
Right. I want everybody to know there was not a memo that said we had to wear black shirts tonight. So it just happened to be that way, but black shirts means we're not in the red, right? So that's
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good show, you guys. We got a lot to talk about. We also have some guests that we are going to bring in as well. So that'll be happening in a bit here. But yeah, interesting show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a sale for Diamond Comics Distribution. The huge news today, my phone was going crazy, and I imagine your guys' phone was even crazier. Big news, you guys.
Yeah.
Big news. Alliance Entertainment buys Diamond Comic Distributors. And this is very interesting because this kind of came out of nowhere, right? I mean,
here's the thing. Jesse and I were taking bets and everybody was talking. Last week we had Rich Johnston on here, and Rich was standing by his Todd McFarlane's buying it rumor and milked that all week long. And the 1,000-to-1 odds were nowhere to be mentioned are the people who looks like are going to get it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the things to point out here, folks, if you hear us say AENT, that's Alliance Entertainment that bought Diamond. I know a lot of you are getting confused out there.
Yes.
A lot of posts about Alliance that is owned by Diamond, bought Diamond. We have completely false articles about a Canadian company buying Diamond. That's completely false. If you post something that's not right and we prove that you're not right, please retract it because it just confuses thousands of people trying to get information today. So this is a great thing. It's in my new state of Florida that I'm living in. So that's kind of cool, about 3-4 hours away. And I think it's going to be a awesome thing in the comic book universe to have fresh minds come in that are very successful.
Yeah.
Well,
Dennis?
Here's the thing. So the second the story broke, my phone started blowing up. I'm already 5 different pages deep into this. And I'm like, oh, I'm taking screen captures. I'm sending it to you guys. I'm sending it to other friends. And I start digging in deep. And the closer, the more I dug, the more I'm like, holy crap, this is like one of the best marriages I've ever seen. You know how I've always pretended that Diamond and retailers were like a disgruntled marriage. I'm sorry, the comic industry couldn't have found a better partner to rebound to.
Yeah. I think because you're looking at physical entertainment, and physical entertainment just blends well in the comic book world because
Absolutely.
we're very much physical entertainment, whether it be comic book statues, trade paperbacks, and all that. So I think as this starts to digest over the days, and folks, just so you know, it still has to be approved by the judge, but when it gets to this point where stock markets are reacting. It's pretty much second place is so far away that there's not going to be anything that kind of becomes a no on this from the judge.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you what my dead giveaway moment was? So after, oh my God, look at this. That's insane.
I know it is.
My dead giveaway moment was, I'm like, you know what? What the hell? I'm going to call these guys. And I called them. And I was greeted by one of the most easiest to use phone prompts I've ever had. Like, dial 1 for this, dial 2 for this, dial, everything was perfectly laid out. Every menu you went to came to another sub menu. And I was just like, God, the last time I called Diamond, it was so frustrating.
I want to say one thing other than Nance's voice. But,
oh, yeah. No, I love Nance's voice.
Yeah.
But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I've never had an experience dialing Diamond like it was dialing Alliance this morning. Totally cold called,
Yeah. Easy navigation. If you go to their page, I think if you're used to the Diamond page, it's very, what would be the best word? I'm not going to say drastic. It's modernized to its point. But when you look at the AENT page, it's modernized. I mean, it is modernized, and it seems like it's something that they're going to have to really upgrade the Diamond part of it because it needs to sync.
Yeah.
So we need to explain this a little bit too, real quick, because a lot of people are going to get very confused, and including myself when I first heard this. I was like, okay, Alliance is buying Alliance. What's going on here? Now, a lot of you guys know one of the arms of Diamond Comics or Diamond Distribution is Alliance Games. And is it just Alliance Games Division? That's
what
it is?
It's called, yeah.
And that's part of what this company called Alliance Entertainment is buying. Now, here's the question that we're going to ask tonight. We're going to ask a lot of questions, and it's great because I get to be the guy who asks a lot of them, and we're going to have a lot of retailers on the show tonight, a couple of them on the show tonight, and then we have a very special guest later on. But we want to remind everybody that it is kind of confusing, so we're going to try our best to call Alliance Entertainment AENT and keep Alliance Games as Alliance Games.
Right. And as the people in the chat have mentioned, AENT is actually their stock name.
Yep.
So if you want to follow this company, you can look there. They were trading at under $4 this morning, and now they're already up to $4.40 or $4.50.
50, I think, is where they ended.
Yeah. So incredible growth. The stock market is looking at them and going, oh, this is a smart move. Whatever, whoever looks at these things.
Right, exactly. And the great thing about it, they are a capital light company, and capital light companies, the best way to put it in layman's term, they don't F around.
Right.
They don't say, oh, we'll go ahead and have crappy shipping and we'll take the loss. No, it's very streamlined shipping.
We should probably explain at our layman's terms prior to our guest. I mean, these are the guys that supply vinyl, video games, DVDs, Blu-rays to Walmart. You don't F around when supplying Walmart, or you don't supply Walmart any longer.
Yeah. And they've got a warehouse mindset of their own, which is very interesting that we'll talk about. They seem very it's very interesting, the relationship with their employees that they seem to have. They seem like a great company so far, and I think that this is a very positive thing that we're getting here tonight, and it's got a lot of us wondering like what could be. So this is very interesting. It's funny, when I went to their site when I first saw it, I kept on seeing the Shabuzi video and them, and Shabuzi is an artist on Vinny's. The label that Vinny helps work for.
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah, so I wonder if they know. I wonder if they know each other. I might have to ask Vinny
Yeah.
or something, you know. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting tonight, and I just want to remind everybody: AENT is the company that's buying Diamond, whereas Alliance Games is one of the divisions of Diamond that they're buying.
Diamond
Correct.
Comics, correct.
You got it.
Exactly.
So, and
it's,
oh, go ahead, Jesse.
I was just going to say, so when you read the readout, it's very interesting because it's basically them buying Diamond, them buying Alliance, them buying Grading. And so we have to assume that when they say buying Diamond, that's all the assets of Diamond. So
Yeah.
I know previews is part of that. I know that
Yeah.
100%.
Well, here's what I got out of it, Jesse, and I apologize to interrupt you on this.
Yep.
A lot of people, and even Rich Johnson, thought all those people, and we had Heidi McDonald outside the place talking about the guys with suits walking in and walking out, and the amazing coffee machine that the lawyer had. Those were all guys that came in thinking what Rich Johnston and what this show actually thought was everybody was going to go into that meeting in that auction, and they were going to go, oh yeah, I'll give you, $39 million for Alliance Games. I'll give you $1 million for Free Comic Book Day. I'll give you $2 million for AFA or CSG or whatever.
Sure.
I think these guys just walked in and said, look, we'll take the whole thing. And our offer is for the whole thing. And the lawyers that handle these things are like, well, I mean, if we take one deal, we don't have to do so much paperwork. If we take 20 different deals, and even if it added up to an extra $1 million, it's not worth dealing with 10 different people for 20 different properties and transfer all that. It's much easier to just take this one offer for all the shebang.
Yeah. And so I think as a whole, people are asking, well, this is a direct to customer company. Absolutely, it's a direct to customer company, but companies buy other companies so that they can advance their brand into closer knit ways to sell more product. So they have 3,000 people that sell their product, 3,000 retailers across the nation spread out. Oh, now it says 5 warehouses. Technically, it is 5 warehouses, but they have a home office. So I don't know if they ship out of the home office. They have 2 warehouses in California. They have a warehouse in Kentucky, a warehouse in Wisconsin, and who am I forgetting? There is
Illinois, Wisconsin, Kentucky, California, and Florida.
Florida. Yeah. Okay. Florida. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to integrate all this, and keep in mind, they still have the Diamond warehouse and they still have the Diamond home office.
Right.
So I have been part of a ton of buyouts with the corporate companies I've been with. They're capital free as well. And it's a very simple thing. When the announcement is made, everybody's in good shape with these companies. And as they go and as they learn how to better the companies, that's when they will make their cuts. But right now, you're not going to see too many cuts. Diamond is going to have to ship out books. Diamond is going to have to bring in the publishers that are shipping them stuff. That's still going to happen. And that stuff has to be shipped. I don't think you're going to see a week where AENT says, oh, no, we're not shipping anything this week, because that's not how they do business.
Right.
They didn't do business to buy this, to close it for a week, to figure it out.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see what their plans are for sure. And we're going to be, of course, hearing that over the next couple months, I imagine.
Couple of the things that struck me, I saw on their page, and Brian, you had it up there. Proud participant in Record Store Day. And as everybody knows, I did the correlation between comic book stores and record stores. This is really important because that means they'll also participate in Free Comic Book Day because they own it. And why wouldn't you? They understand the benefits of Record Store Day, but not just that, but they understand the concept of physical media. As everybody, Best Buy, all the big box people. Oh, there we go.
Look at that. $5 super chat from the one, the only Mr. Billy Tucci. He says, "Hey, all, good day for comics. Let's fucking go." Hell yeah. Billy.
Thank you, Vice
yeah.
President Billy Tucci.
Yeah.
One of the good guys right there.
Yep.
So, like I was saying, they understand physical media and they understand how to keep it alive. And that's the important thing. This might not be the best news for every brick and mortar store today. This might not be the best news for this, that, or the other thing. But as we've been saying on here for 57 episodes, we need spinny racks in mass market to get more kids. These guys can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look at it this way. What I would be very interested in is looking at the 3,000 retailers that sell their product now. How many of those retailers had a Diamond account? And let's just say it's 25%.
50?
Yeah, let's say.
I think it's like 50 to 100.
Okay,
brother.
so let's say 50.
Yeah.
So that means there's then be 2,950 new stores, most likely selling comic books.
Yeah.
That's what is amazing about
I'll
this
beat
thing.
you to that, Jesse. In the chat, they were like, "Oh, we should all be worried. These guys sell direct to the customer." Guys, they've been selling direct to the customer on vinyl for quite some time. Vinyl prices haven't gone down.
Yeah.
Vinyl penetration in the market has not decreased. Okay. They have been selling direct to the consumer. They have been selling direct to big box and direct to record stores for quite some time. Hopefully we'll find out tonight.
Well, not only that.
That has only made that market stronger.
Yeah. Not only that, comic retailers have been dealing with AENT for a while now. One of those retailers that we're going to find out if they have dealt with them in the past is a former guest and a great retailer in his own right, ladies and gentlemen, George from Hypno Comics. George, how you doing?
Shirt. No black shirt.
Black
blue.
shirt. It's dark
Go
blue.
change real
Dark blue.
fast.
I'm wearing blue. I'm wearing blue. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
is it blue? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's blue. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, brother.
Exciting day.
Yeah.
It's an exciting day today.
Big day.
Yeah.
So we
yeah,
talked to
big day.
you last year about the pivot.
Yeah.
You have already pivoted in a lot of different directions. What did this morning tell you?
Well, ironically enough, we just pivoted back to vinyl about a month ago. So this was really exciting news for us because we brought vinyl back in about a month ago, and it's already our number 4 performing category on new and vintage vinyl. So I think it's exciting. I like everything about this company. I like the revenue that they generate. I think them picking up Alliance Games is going to bolster their infrastructure big time with the warehouses that Alliance Games has, the exclusive game licensing that Alliance Games has. You know, there's a lot there. There's a lot there for them to pick just from the Alliance game portion of this deal. You know, so yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Much love to the one, the only Derek Neiman, who just gifted 10 Beyond Wednesdays memberships. So congratulations to everybody that got those memberships. We have a new members only content coming up where I will be reading YouTube viewers' comments for members only content. So that will be starting next week. So congratulations, all you members. All right. So some of the questions that we want to get into is the stuff that this company puts out. We talked about the music part. Are they involved in any other thing when ordering? Do you order any other thing from Alliance Entertainment, AENT, George, for the store other than just music or vinyl? Is it video games? Anything else?
Blu-rays. We do Blu-rays, video games, and vinyl here. So we use two or three different companies for those 3 things. Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff. It's a great channel. If you don't have it, like Dennis, his Dystopia.
Yes.
You do vinyl there?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So that's got to be performing well.
I love it when I see a road less traveled, and now all of a sudden I see an opportunity for people that, I mean, look how many retailers stayed with Diamond and paid 5 or 10% more for Marvel and DC during the last 4 years.
Plus shipping. Plus shipping.
Shipping.
Yeah.
Okay. Those guys think right inside this box.
Right.
Now that they have a new place that has this much more stuff, and you can't see a lot, this much more stuff, that's going to expand their minds. And like, oh, dude, Fleetwood Mac Rumors is available on a repro. I love that. And I think my customers will love that. I'll try that. Oh,
Right.
wait, I can buy the new Spider-Man game to stock in my store, and I get $20 off of it. I make $20 profit on every Spider-Man game. You know what? I'm going to try that.
How many retailers do you think that went over to Penguin started carrying the top 10 fantasy and sci-fi novels and stuff like that? Like I know we set up a little corner of that just because it was available.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Shout out to JSS Brooklyn, who just dropped a $4.99 super chat. He says, let's hope this is positive for the entire community, creator, collector, customer, LCS, the entire community. And I think so far we feel that way, right?
Right.
Yeah,
a rising tide lifts all boats.
All boats. That's right.
All boats.
No, this is a good deal for everybody that's in this industry, whether you're just hyper focused on comics and graphic novels and you're just now getting into manga and anime, and now you want to get into more of the multimedia stuff. I mean, you're going to become the one-stop shop. Think about Hot Topic. Hot Topic used to just carry music related stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
You know,
Yeah.
now they've got Marvel everything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and it's what I said about Five Below. Five Below
Right.
did a massive pivot 10 years ago. And I'm like, why can't we get that stuff? Why can't we get that stuff? Well, now we got a company that's going to be able to do all of that kind of stuff for us.
Yep.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the best way to look at it is, let's just say Todd McFarlane, just to say Todd McFarlane. Well, he's in the comic book industry. So if he buys Diamond, what new moves are we going to see? Where here we have flipped the stage and said, guys, gals, guess what? You just have a bigger opportunity to not only expand your business, expand your demographics, and expand your genre. And I think that's what I look at as far as opportunities. And the other opportunity is, keep in mind, small publishers to this company is gold. And
I saw Niobe says they have doubts Alliance is going to pick up small publishers and deal with all the small little accounts. I don't think that they're going to overlook bringing small publishers into the outlets that they're already servicing. I think which is going to be an expansion for all the small pubs right out of the gate. You know.
Yeah.
Ken drops a $4.99 super chat with great job, Dennis, Jesse, and Brian. Love the show. You guys are crushing it. Hell yeah, appreciate you, Ken. Yeah, you know, that's going to be some very interesting questions to AENT about the comic side, because let's be honest. I mean, for most people that look at this, they say, okay, these guys are buying Diamond for everything else. They're not buying it for the comic stuff. And me, that's one of the things that I first thought of in my head. I said, well, are they even going to touch the comic stuff? Or is this just, they want the games, they want the grading of the collectibles, because AENT is they're into the collectible business now.
And they mentioned that specifically in their press release.
Yes.
Yeah, that vertically integrates them. You know, just even further. Yeah.
So that's perfect. You know, they already have the music thing going where, collectibles, physical media are very collectible nowadays. So a grading company could go into grading multiple other things, not just figures. You know, vinyl, tapes, CDs, all kinds of physical media, video games.
But here's the thing:
VHS.
what you're describing is very limited edition things, Brian.
Yes,
and they handle it cautiously.
Yes,
we are not going to have some of the issues that we had with Diamond now that it's going to be in these guys' hands.
the comic stuff though is the most interesting to me, because I do agree. I really want to hear from them what their thought is on comics distribution, and I want to talk to you guys about this too, because the first part of me thinks, okay, if they are going to be anything about comics, they got a huge backstock of inventory at their Diamond warehouses. What do you guys think is going to happen with that inventory? First off,
first of all, they don't own that inventory per se.
Okay.
That inventory is still owned by all of the publishers that sent it to Diamond for safe handling.
Right. Yep.
And I use finger quotes when I say safe handling. I can't resist. Come on, it's me. But there are going to be deals that are struck between now and when they hand the keys over to AENT when that happens. And part of that deal is, and like we said it here on this show, Image might literally say, guys, we don't want those pallets back. We don't need you to ship those pallets to Lunar. Yeah. Do whatever you want with the pallets. Inventory says it's $20,000 worth of comics. Because of the settlement, we're getting 80 cents on the dollar for what Diamond owes us. Give us $5,000 and you can do whatever you want with it, or whatever that deal is. That will get struck between now and when the keys get handed over. Right. And then we can worry about all of that.
I'm sure there'll be some fire sales right out of the gate as they slim things down and tighten it up. I'm just wondering how they're going to handle the accounts that just refuse to order Marvel from, Penguin, and if they're going to continue to offer that, going forward. I want access to everything else that they carry. That's what I want. The other thing that they do is the 1-Up arcade machines.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They own that too. I have three of those in my shop. I have them here just for the kids to play.
FYI, my producer of my videos on YouTube, he also does an entire channel about Arcade 1-Up. They are this close from being Diamond, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, AENT owns them. It's part.
Oh, they own.
Part of their portfolio.
They own Arcade 1-Up.
Yeah. Arcade 1-Up revenue was $74 million for them last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it says
they have strong numbers.
Yeah, they're really into pop cultures and collectibles, Star Wars, Warner Brothers properties, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is one of their main things.
Jeff Walker has come out, the president of the company, CEO of the company, has said, listen, we want a collectible ecosystem. And if you don't have an ecosystem, that means you're carrying everything. You're carrying
and not just an ecosystem, an ecosystem as well.
Yeah, well, ecosystem. And so so with that said, how they create this mass specialty channel is going to be very, very important. Do they actually have to ship comics to those other 5 warehouses? Maybe they do, maybe because you ship those stuff to the 2 warehouses in California. Right.
Well, I mean, they might come up with a Walmart system where they got a truck from Florida that's going to Kentucky to drop off albums to that warehouse. Why not drop off to Olive Branch, Mississippi, some albums, and then they can pick up some comics and take it up to Chicago. They can work that out.
Yeah. There's the Arcade 1-Ups.
See, exclusive distribution, but they don't own it.
Okay. Yeah. They still made a great amount of money off that.
Right, because they have the contract with Walmart that sells all of these for Arcade 1-Up.
That's where I bought all mine. Yeah.
But apparently they made the company made way too many of like these couple cabinets that they sunk way too much money into, and it's kind of backlashing on them. But if there's a will, there's a way. Alliance might buy them up too.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's very neat to see a company who has 120 million in assets, bumping that up to 160 million. That's a very, very good company that is very cash friendly, understands debt. It will be very interesting. Keep in mind they're buying debt, and recovering that debt is going to be very, very interesting. I could see that added on to new invoices. and creating deals with these companies and saying, listen, you owe 5,000, we're adding 200 a week to every invoice. There's a lot of ways they can manage this. They don't want to rock the boat too hard. I think they want to kind of talk to these stores and say, tell us why you're in debt.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's
Yeah.
not too crazy that they already have 3,000 plus accounts. And now all of a sudden they have access to 1,200 to 2,000 accounts that they know, somebody over there knows, we can sell them albums. We can sell them video games.
Yeah.
Let's keep these guys going. Let's not just crucify them. Now, there may be some accounts that are just so far behind that they're just like, sorry, you're not coming in to play in our reindeer games.
Right.
But anybody with their waiting, whatever, they know that this is an expansion of their merchandise as well. And even a 10 to 20% increase in sales on all of their other stuff, plus what they know they can make out of Alliance games as it is, this is a win-win for them. And they walked in, cocks right ready to drop on the table. Yeah. And they sent everybody in that room packing.
Yeah. What? Tell us about their shipping. How, when you order something, what's the time frame to get the shipping? How does it come in?
It's not bad at all. I mean, it's got they're as smooth as Penguin, a little faster. And I saw something on the website when you were scrolling. I saw the Lego emblem, which kind of intrigues me because I do a lot of Lego at my place, and right now there's only one. Yeah, there's only one Lego distributor that I know of that handles small accounts. I didn't know that they even did Lego. So
just FYI, I apologize to interrupt here, George. While we were talking, I got an email. So I filled out my account information this morning.
Okay.
I've already gotten an email asking to verify some stuff. Send them my business account. Here, I'm just gonna read a few things off of this.
All right.
Alliance is making some improvements for security measures on the website, B2B. This will require you to register emails and do this and this and this. And then when you click on it, it has a whole bunch of like their background information, their minimum orders, how they do. I'll read some of this. We stock over 600,000 SKUs of CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, vinyls, and games, along with a huge assortment of music and video-related accessories. We have a $1,000 minimum first order and offer great freight rates out of our Louisville, Kentucky based warehouse. Most new accounts start off with either COD, credit card, fees apply, or ACH transfer. Our entire catalog and basic pricing structures can be viewed on our B2B website. In a moment, you will receive a prompt to create a password demonstration. Here, let me show you all my password here real quick. Okay. And you will have 30 days to create your password using the link on the email. Your password will remain valid for 60 days. Please note that additional discounts may apply based on your purchasing volume. Your wholesale accounts just complete the tax ID form, new accounts application, and include a copy of your resale tax certificate. Thank you again, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, dude, I got 2 different emails from these guys within 8 hours.
They're clearly motivated. They're clearly motivated.
Yeah, they are motivated.
On top
keep
of them.
Keep in mind the people from Diamond are then get a different email than that. That's going in as a standard AENT wholesaler.
I still think you're going to probably have to cross over and play over here, even if you already have a Diamond account, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think they'll then get introduction to the company, and then that letter you just got is going to be added to that. Mm-hmm. Now, there's going to be a line that says, oh, by the way, before we start, you do owe $5,685. How do you plan on taking care of that so we can create a great relationship for the future?
Yep.
If you can't pay that, what means can we do to move forward here? Because what I think is going to happen here, they are going to be looking for real estate in these comic book stores.
Yep.
And I think they can leverage that real estate with these stores to because like George is already set up for this. Okay, well, that's cool. That's fine. Dennis, you're already set up for this. That's fine. I'm technically set up for this. But there's 1,000 stores that never thought, oh, let's sell, records and Blu-ray and games and all that stuff.
And it might just be as much as sampling, but then there are retailers that we talk to on here like Emmett who have already started to do that pivot. That's going to be so much easier for them to pivot further into it. Right. And when you take that Diamond catalog store, which is what I call most comic shops, they order everything out of that Diamond catalog. This just makes that catalog triple in size.
Well, it doesn't make the triple in size because they're not a company that's saying have a catalog.
Exactly. I know,
right?
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. They're probably looking at that preview saying, what is this?
Yeah.
I think you'll see a lot of the spending shift too. I think maybe once people have access to products like this that they haven't before, okay, let's not order 300 pops this quarter and move some of it over to vinyl or try some of the top 10 video games, because people do love their physical media as much as the digital age we're in. People love their physical media. They always will. I see in the chat some people asking like, oh, will record stores start carrying comic books? Yeah, for sure. I mean, like here we have like Zia Records. They buy graphic novels and comics. I mean, the record stores back in the old days, they used to be record stores, head shops. You go get your copy of Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers comic books while you were there. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be that, only modernized now.
Yeah, it's not like a NASCAR company bought this, right?
Right.
Or you're like, NASCAR comics, oh my gosh, this doesn't make sense. This is the same demographic.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a 2% difference in demographics here.
Yeah. The Venn diagram fits over very nicely to make a decent circle.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's
especially with the vinyl renaissance we're seeing, again, everything's cyclical. I mean, we saw this about like 20 years ago. Here we are again, so this is great timing on their part. I think it's great timing for all of us, and it's great timing for the fans and collectors too. So
George,
I'm excited.
It was very interesting, George, because you were one of the first guys we had on the channel to kind of really talk about the idea of the pivot to becoming a collectible store, becoming a pop culture store, and trying things like these guys, Dennis and Jesse, have done over the years. And it seems to have be working well so far. And this is really good news for you and Hypno Comics, I'd imagine, too.
Absolutely. I mean, I like my friends here and my colleagues, we all started off because we love comic books. We got into the comic book business. We're in the pop culture business now. But I still love comic books. They're my first love. But you have to carry a wide array of stuff now. Being a comic book purist shop, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it,
What really struck me when I was digging around for these guys today, I went into their social medias, and 4 days ago, they had this huge thing. Holy shnikes, Tommy Boy on 4K Blu-ray comes out this day. And I'm just like, okay, your marketing department is literally on point.
It's already better than Diamond. Yeah.
Dude, look at the secondary market of just steel books.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like just the secondary market on steel books is a great indicator for all of us.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And the thing is there's going to be chances for every comic retailer to sample at all of these different levels. Maybe you don't need the steel book. Maybe you just want their cheapest offering. Maybe you just want one or two, and you decide to keep one for yourself and take it home and watch it. Sorry, go ahead.
The other thing that I would say is if we all have the opportunity to do it, the people that are carrying vinyl or thinking about getting into vinyl, Record Store Day. Yeah. Record Store Day is another huge event.
I just wish it wasn't a week or two before Free Comic Book Day every year.
Hey, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something there,
Well,
Who knows?
I tried to work that with a music guy I know and a comic guy
Yeah.
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 and try to make it record and music week, but it's really hard to coordinate that shit because it takes a lot longer to make vinyl.
It's a great first quarter bump. You know, we get
Yeah.
the second quarter bump from Free Comic Book Day. I mean, it's all, you know, and Record Store Day, again, the secondary market on that stuff. You'll have people lined up for hours, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
to get one of the albums.
Yeah, we have a very special guest, and I want to bring him in. But first, I want to let George know that we're gonna drop you out. But if you're still sticking around with us, we're gonna open it back up if we have time to the rest of the retailers. So I'd love for you to jump back
Sure.
on if you're gonna be hanging around, and we'll reach out to you we'll along with some other retailers to get you guys back in if you guys are still around.
I got it. Always a pleasure, you guys. I appreciate
All
you
right.
having me. Chat. I hope you guys all have a great night. Thank you so much.
All right,
Much
brother.
love, George. Thank
All right,
you, brother.
Have a good night.
All right.
Okay.
That was amazing, you guys. Look at that.
Yeah.
That was a very I mean, what a story today. Great
Yeah.
stuff. Big deal for comics. I want to send out we sent out a link to George. I think we also have a couple links out to retailers. Do you guys let's send a link to Haven for Heroes. I want to bring in a couple retailers. I want just retailers on tonight, you guys. So if you're a retailer and a retailer only, I'm going to drop this link, and we got about I would say an hour or so to go ahead and talk about this. So there is the link in the live chat for retailers only. Please, if you're a retailer and you want to come and talk about this a little bit, give us your thoughts and what you think about this. There's the link in the live chat, and I will also pin it as well. So, but go ahead.
Well,
Dennis.
let me answer Dan's question. He doesn't have Marvel, DC, or Image, so I'm not sure about King of Comics. Guys, if you are one of those three and you look at this company over here, you don't think you're going to give them something to help move more product? I think we could see a world where Marvel's like, yeah, you guys aren't too into the floppies, and Penguin Random House is happy with it. But would you like to try some of our trade paperbacks? Can we sell a limited edition trade paperback for you to get into Walmart? You know, instead of having us up there with MJ Holdings and that 3-pack of Marvel variants, guess what? You can tack 99 cents onto one of those 3-packs and make it pretty easy. There's a lot of stuff that I think we get these blinders on, that we know what a comic book store is. A comic book store is this. And the reason I agreed to do this show over a year ago, was because I took those blinders off 3 years ago. And I want to make sure everyone understands, when those blinders come off, you see giant opportunities everywhere else than what I was for the first 17 years of owning a store.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing how that happens. You make a change and you kind of open your mind a little bit, and then it's like, sometimes it just comes flooding in. Oh man, this is the way to do it now. And this is what we need to do to change. So
exactly, Derek, I see the matrix. I say that to probably Brian and Jesse on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
There's just a certain point where once you've taken those shackles off, once you've just kind of focused on what the bigger picture is, it's not just green squiggly lines. It's blonde, redhead, brunette.
Now I see a lot of people in the chat tonight saying that we're reading this all wrong. I see people saying that this is the end of floppies, and I disagree totally. Even if Alliance of AENT decides not to spend all their time or put effort, I shouldn't say spend all their time, put effort into distributing comics the same way that Diamond did, that doesn't mean that Penguin Random House or Lunar or some other option isn't going to pop up. Now, the most important thing to me is floppies aren't dead if AENT decides not to distribute them. I mean, we have crowdfunding. We have retailers that are willing to get into the crowdfunding world. If you have a retailer portal, we talked to Eric July about that recently. About he has a retailer portal for his crowdfunding. We've talked to Brian Polito, who's talked about a retailer portal. There are retailers or ways that Kickstarter crowdfunding can get into stores and produce floppies there, but ultimately, unfortunately, you're just gonna have to work harder.
I came up with another analogy, Brian. When I heard you saying that, this guy has been selling records since 1978. Okay, records, cassettes. He probably was selling 8-tracks back then. Eventually, he moved away from 8-tracks and focused on cassettes and records. Then CDs came around.
Right.
Then he probably forgot about cassettes for a while.
Yep.
Then he did cassettes and vinyl. Then there was a time where they weren't making vinyl. So he focused on CDs and added movies. These are all my favorite documentary of all time that I just look at it. And once again, I see The Matrix. I see Comic Book Store. Is All Things Must Pass about Tower Records. And when you watch that documentary, you have to pivot or you will fall behind.
Right.
Diamond had 100% of the market in 2019. They had the small press and they had the big press. Then they lost DC. Then they lost Marvel. Now they've lost Image. No company can survive on just the small press.
Right, but let me explain from the corporate side. Okay, so from the corporate side, he's saying a basic concept here. We're then do turn rates and sell through. So if your book is $5, it better be turning, and it better be a sell through.
Yep.
Right. So that's what he's saying. He's not saying, "Oh my gosh, your book's $5. We're not going to sell it." That's not what he said. What he said is we have to be able to make money off it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Glenn Wood had a question about Dollar Tree. So Glenn, what your buddy saw was DC did 52 titles at all the Dollar Trees. They are $1.25. They are a reprint. There's different ads, and then there's DC ads in the back. It is poly sealed, so it's still the story. You're just getting it for $2 less. So that's the answer to that. So, and then the third thing is he hasn't got the company yet. So let him get the company and then make those decisions from when his team says, "Oh, okay, well, this is how we make this better for small press so that we can make more money." You got to keep in mind that small press is then be offered to 3,000 new stores as well. So I wouldn't say, no, he's not carrying small press. It's just they have to look at the financial profitability of it. And to think that's weird, no, that's business.
Do you know how good Opus would have done if they had 3,000 record stores they could have been in?
Oh man. Yep. Whew. Oh man. Yeah.
Doing all those heavy metal stories for bands and that I think.
Well, and it's the difference. It's the difference. And Haven, you've got enough rock experience. I don't know about Jesse. Jesse knows, big rock. There's bands that are incredible that have never sold more than 1,000 copies of their albums at the tours that they did. They never got picked up by a major label, but they still have 20 album, discographies that they sold hand to hand at every one of their concerts. Napster did not affect them. iTunes did not affect them. And I hate to say it, but there's going to have to, I've been saying it for a year now on this show. You have to pivot. If you now are looking at a company that just bought Diamond and they don't want to sell $5 CDs, you better figure out a way that you can make the comic book, give them their 99 cents to touch the comic book, turn 3,000, 5,000 copies of your comic book through that business model, or you're out. I'll tell you who I was thinking about today. Remember we had that guy on, and I can't remember his name, and I hate myself for not, but he has the Mushroom comic book that he sells at
Oh,
Head
yeah,
Shop.
Sam Sinopa. Yeah, Sam from Sinopa.
Is he in the chat?
He's in the chat. He is in the chat, yeah.
I could see that guy getting with this guy and coming up with a sales model that's going to put him in every fucking record store in this country.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
And if here's the thing, maybe this comic won't pivot, but that comic sure as hell can pivot. That comic could pivot into Alliance Entertainment's portfolio.
Yeah.
For me, this is a home run because I've been looking for somebody to get albums.
This isn't a home
from.
run. This is a grand slam.
Yeah. I'm super excited, especially they're going to do toys a lot. They're going to merge it all into Alliance. That's been actually a mess for a lot of us that do comic stores. Alliance has dropped some. I got mine.
Well, make sure you say Alliance Games so you don't confuse people.
Sorry. Yeah. Alliance Games. If I could get Pokemon through them and get it all in one shipment with my comics and everything, holy shit.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. And somebody just mentioned it in the chat. You're massive. You just signed this huge deal with Lunar. You just announced Heavy Metal. And now Diamond, who you used to have a relationship with, just got sold to the biggest record store. I'm sorry, man. Heavy Metal and rock and roll go hand in hand to me. I'll never think of those two separately.
Right.
You better figure out a way that you can get a hold of Alliance and say, hey, by the way, we have this Heavy Metal launch, and this would be great in every record store.
Yep.
That's the pivot.
Yeah, and it's very simple. When I was with Nordstrom and I was traveling all across the nation, and I would go into a new department, and the person would introduce me to the number one salesperson, right? I already knew I was then beat that guy. Why? Because I was then pivot. I was then be a better salesperson. I was then create my relationships. And this is all you're doing. You're just creating a new relationship. And you got to figure out, do you make sense with this company? And can you sell your product to them? And that's all you have to do. And if it doesn't work, there are so many platforms you can, anybody out there that says, oh my gosh, it's done, I can't be successful. There are so many platforms to be successful on. It is amazing. So I think we have to stop that one-track mind thinking in business of selling comics and figure out, how do I take everything around me and use it as one? And then you're fine. But if you're going to be one directional, I think that's what hurts some brands sometimes.
Some publishers will go out, but they're probably the ones that were already on their way out.
Yeah.
Right? There's been some hanging on.
Oh, IDW was out before COVID. COVID saved them, and they didn't make any pivots after COVID that would have kept them from being in the position they're in now. I think they're dead men walking, honestly.
Yeah.
What's up, Hyde?
Hey, James.
What's up, guys?
What'd you think, brother?
I'm excited. I've been starting to pivot the store towards being more collectively focused, not just comics and art, I should say. But any retailer that's tried to do that understands that licensing, getting the ability to sell a lot of those products, it's a ton of accounts, there's a ton that goes behind it.
James,
having access to so much of a database with so many different collectibles.
James, I'm just going to say, you know what I love about this? You'll stop bitching about me getting you record store day records now. You can get them yourself.
I don't have to bother Dennis about getting me special vinyl anymore. But no, I'm excited. I really am. I think there's valid questions when it comes to Nowby's got some good small press publishing questions, and that stuff I'm sure will get figured out and panned out down the road. There's still a lot of unknowns, like you guys have said. They don't even own the company yet. The courts have to approve the purchase. There's going to be a lot of answers coming soon to a lot of questions, and we'll see how this all settles out. But as a retailer, I am beyond excited. I'm honestly already planning tomorrow to get the sections of my website set up for various other. You guys were on. I was on their website being like, okay, who do they distribute? So I'm already, by tomorrow, I should have half my website set up to go the second I can start putting orders in for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
Really, are you kidding?
Might as well pivot quick.
Really, are you
So-
really you're kidding? You are kidding. Asks Brian, can you ask Bruce if they will be distributing small press publishers? And we did ask him about that, and his answer was, let us get in there and figure this out yet, because the comics is not a big selling point to them. Everything else was, and the comic stuff is kind of new to them, and they're going to be looking just like what Dennis said and what James said and what we said. They're going to be looking at that to see if that's something that is profitable for them and that will work. And it's not something that they're against right now, which is a good thing.
So Jesse and I know a little on the back end. There's if you want to sell to Walmart, there's an office in what's the town, Jesse?
For Walmart?
Yeah.
As far as the home office for
the home office.
Somewhere in Arkansas, right?
Okay, well, it's somewhere down in Texas, like Denton, Texas, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a guy there's a whole team of people you have to sell your shit to. If you've got an idea and you think you want your product in Walmart, you sit there all day and wait for your turn at bat. And you go in and you sell Walmart just like Shark Tank, just like whatever. And dreams are broken. There's 20 people in that room that only 19 walk out with 0 contracts and 1 walks out with a purchase order.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
These guys right here figured out the product that Walmart wants to sell, and they distribute to Walmart. Okay, they have a track record of sales that they can go to Walmart and say, here's anything. You have to now extrapolate back. If you are in a world where you were just carried by Diamond just because you knew this guy and this guy allowed you to, et cetera, you now have to figure out how to sell Alliance. So Alliance can figure out how to sell you to retailers and to people like Walmart, et cetera. There's an opportunity, but you're not going to be able to just go, well, I was in Preview Magazine number 592 and I sold 1,000 copies of my comic book. So Alliance, when are you going to let me in? You've got to figure out how to sell now. The game has changed. Today the game has changed. This evening, you saw the game that's about to happen. You can either still sit there in your cleats and your baseball and think you're on a baseball diamond and that's the game you've been playing. Guess what? We're over here now.
Yep.
As of this morning, we're in a different game over here. You better figure out the uniform to put on and the way you're going to play it, because it's not going to wait around for you. It's
I had a very good conversation with our newest guest, Billy from Economics and Comics, this morning. And one of the things Billy said to me was, that there are retailers out there that are making good money selling new comic books and giving their customer the ability to buy new comics. And Billy, one of the things that you said that was surprising to me today, not surprising to me, but something I definitely want to talk about with you, is that the fact that you're happy for this, because you don't have to worry about Diamond's past issues, causing you to get damaged books anymore, this and that. You're happy that you're going through Lunar and paying a Random House to get your customers their new books. Talk about that a little bit, brother.
It took a little while. I mean, when they first came, right? They had their issues. I did my best to tell Penguin, look, you got to change the way you ship their product, and they actually listened to me, which was amazing. Because I straight up did a video. Look, no. And like everyone saw it. Penguin called me and they finally figured out how to do it, right? And Lunar's been tight the whole time. They're the best at shipping product. But I'm just so happy right now because it's what's going to happen to Diamond's going down. I never thought it was a problem, and now that it's like we have 2 for comics and they're both Marvel, DC, you can just call it that, whatever, and books, right? Because Penguin Random House is massive when it comes to books. And now we have Diamond that can give us all the other goodies, dude. And we don't need to like order it with our books and all. At least that's my thought. I not against small publishers, right? But I hope they don't do comics. I hope they're done. I hope they're done, and it's just toys and cards and whatever they, because I don't need a statue on top of 120 comics in a box. I hope that their shipping is going to be totally different. And like Hive was saying, he's got to adjust his store now to see what other stuff he can sell. People are going to I think people are really going to love this, dude. And we can the two distributors for comics, they're good, dude. I just saw the other day, Bad Idea. For the first time ever, we can order Bad Idea like online stores. You don't have to be a LCS, a local comic book shop, I can order it from Lunar. Massive's over there. Everyone's kind of it's almost done. I don't know what's going on with Dynamite. I'll be honest. They haven't pre-sold anything in 2 weeks. Probably because they don't know, they knew.
Say that again, Billy. What did you just say? Can you repeat that? What you just said?
Which part?
About Dynamite and FOC.
For like 2 weeks, there's been no Dynamite.
Yep.
And like it'll be up, and I'll get my store ready, and then I have to pull it all. It frustrates the shit out of me. So, because I manually do each comic one by one, I don't download the whole thing. Like a lot of people download the whole thing. I don't know. Am I cutting out?
No, you're good. No, you're good, brother.
It might be your Wi-Fi.
I'm just, I'm really far away. I'm on my phone. I'm not at my house. I don't have the good internet at my house, right? But I'm just super stoked. I like the idea of one distributor now. Now we're back to it's almost like a monopoly again. Think about it though. One distributor is going to give us all the other stuff. And I really like that idea. I can concentrate my main two publisher, DC and Marvel and everyone. They're separated. And then you have the main for the hopefully the toys and everything else. I hope they don't dabble with, I think they need to stick with whatever they're good at. And that way we'll benefit from if they stick to what they're good at instead of trying to branch out and stuff they don't know. My guess is that would be their plan, to stick with what they're good at. I don't know exactly everything they do, but I know most of it, isn't it toys and cards and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Toys and music distribution, collectibles, video games.
Their business is set up to sell stuff. That's the good thing about them. They're ready to sell stuff.
It doesn't matter what.
So does anybody know when, because I haven't looked. Okay. I looked last night, Diamond FOC, but it was just comics, right? And there's only small publishers are on there. Most of it's like stuff from the past. I don't see anything really new there. Anyone know when it's going to start?
Nope.
No.
He said on our show tonight, the biggest question that I've gotten from other retailers was, well, do I even need to put in this previews? Am I even going to get books tomorrow? And he basically said, guys, we don't own Diamond yet. Diamond is still going to do what Diamond does.
Yep.
This just means that Diamond knows it's going to get money at the end of this thing for the sale. Keep doing everything as you would. Now, there's a lot of things that we don't know. I'm going to be kind of mean here. We know Nikki owes Diamond money, and we know Diamond owes Nikki money. We don't know anything else other than that from the records. Now, if Nikki can't pay his printer, then there's going to be no comics from Dynamite. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, Nikki, Dynamite's the big question, right? That's the biggest question that today a lot of people asked is what's going to happen? What's going to happen with Dynamite? And
for months on your show, I have been asking, even with Nick on, dude, why aren't you moving? For months. Why haven't you picked Lunar and Penguin? And it was like it's complicated or whatever. He didn't give it. I mean, I hope the best for him.
But Billy, I said it here on this show. Lunar doesn't want to deal
That's
with 20. Lunar doesn't want to deal with 26 variants of Red Sonja number 3. And Nikki was like, well, maybe I'm like, they only want 4 Mark Spears variants. Do you think they want 26 Red Sonja number 3s?
No, I'm not arguing that point. I agree it's out of control, and it's been out of control for years with Dynamite and their ratios. But there are, I'm looking at Boom right now over there, or whoever's, I think it's Boom, or is it IDW?
Yeah, Boom's at Penguin.
Okay, IDW. No, one of them. All I know is there are some that are getting more than 4. And I think it had to do a little bit with, the whole you can't do that many, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Just because they were just bringing in Keen Spot initially. They're okay, let's try it out. Let's see. I really think that'll change for a lot of other publishers. They'll get a chance to do more ratios and whatever. But yeah, Dynamite's out of control in regard to that. We've always talked about that for years. It's always been like that. But my question is like, that I stopped selling Diamond like 2 to 3 weeks ago. I just stopped. I kept ordering for myself. If it came in, then good. If not, then bad, just because everything was destroyed now, new books. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I stopped because I have a feeling everything's going to stop. I just have a feeling all the books are going to stop.
I think
the only one left is what?
Yeah, here's what's interesting to me, and we've talked to Nick a lot about this. I think Nick was on the forefront of the crowdfunding effort with publishers doing crowdfunding stuff, and I hope that Nick finds a way to pivot into if he wants to go back to distributing to comic shops, he figures it out. But even if not, and if he changes it up a little bit and decides to work some type of more crowdfunding effort to get the books that people love to the fans, a different direct to consumer thing. The bottom line is, and we've been talking about this for a year straight now, a little over a year, that and Dennis will say it again. You were talking about, these guys are on a baseball field and everybody else is on the football pitch right now, the soccer pitch right now, right? If you haven't decided that you need to change your business model up from a Diamond distribution, get your books every Wednesday comic book store, and selling some back issues at the same time, there is a different way of doing things now, and
Brian,
you have to change.
Yeah, Steve Jeppy stood in front of all the retailers and said, "Why aren't you selling back issues?"
Yes.
Meanwhile, every single C-Pro meeting and every single San Diego Eisner Award is about a coffee shop that sells LGBTQ and comic books and doesn't care about records or any of this other stuff that we've been making so much money in. Emmett, am I wrong?
No.
They're not talking about making these comic book stores survive by pivoting and going in different directions that they're comfortable in. They're talking about pigeonholing them into this one thing that they want the industry to be. And guess what? That's baseball. We just ended the baseball game last night. This morning, we're over playing soccer.
Yep.
I agree with Dennis. I mean, I think that whole LG, the whole thing that has kind of went away. It's disappeared. If you haven't noticed, it's gone. Okay. And now they're, the ultimates and the absolutes, and they're going a different route and all that. Mm-hmm. But I do also agree that I think they learned their lesson there. But I do also agree about the records and stuff. I have a lot of customers that whenever there's a book, I forgot the name of it, whatever.
Hey, James, you know the name of that book.
What's the furthest place from whatever or something?
Yeah, what's the furthest place from here?
Are you talking about the Rosenberg book? Matt Rosenberg.
Came with the 7-inch.
Yep.
Yeah, they do records.
Didn't come.
I have a couple customers that love that. And I mean, this is definitely a crossover. We're collectors, right? So It's going to be cards, records, and comics. I mean, that is our world, right? we don't just do comics. We all collected everything at one point. I believe most of the collectors out there. So there's a market, and I am very excited to offer that to them. Maybe shipping it to them will be a little bit more difficult. I'll have to change the way I ship some certain things. But I mean, we're not in this business to fail. We want our family, our buyers or whatever, our client customers to be happy. And if they can reconnect with something from their past, some silly garbage pail kid or a Pokemon, or get back into vinyl or whatever it is, damn straight I'm going to put it at my store. Yep. And that makes me super happy, as that is what I believe Diamond will become. And I really hope it will become that. I'm very excited. I'm not afraid about the new comic market yet. I'm still very positive.
Well, let me explain something
reads.
to Billy.
Look, I've been reading these books, you guys, the last 2 weeks. They are amazing.
Yeah.
The new books, some of the new books are amazing. So
what you were talking about. So Diamond was so married to Alliance, but Diamond's purchasing power has been diminishing. They weren't able. I mean, Brian, back in 2020 during COVID, I was buying Bowman retail boxes.
Yes.
From Diamond.
Yes.
Okay. Then they lost that purchasing power, and you couldn't get the stuff.
Nightmare.
Because all of a sudden they're getting allocated less and less and less until they got nothing.
Yeah, it was a
Same
nightmare.
thing happens over at Alliance. They just filled one of my retailer friends 10% of his initial order for the newest Pokemon set. Where did that other 90% go? Well, they weren't spending enough with Pokemon USA to keep that up. You know why? Because they weren't putting it out there into the market. So they lost this and this and this to the point where they could only fill 10%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, but guess what? These guys have $160 million worth of purchasing power. These guys have 600 square foot warehouses. These guys have, all of the 300,000 SKUs. They are literally going to change the face of what a retailer is able to purchase through them. And I haven't heard one record store ever say, yeah, my distributor sucks. I only got 20% of my allocation for the new release of Taylor Swift. No, they place the orders. They get the records. When did that ever happen?
But the funny thing is, we could always have done this.
Yes.
Right? And we could have always have done it. But now that we have the opportunity to do it, look how excited we are. Even though we could have done it, we're so focused on comics. When you're in the comic book industry, for everybody in the chat, it's very tough to look right and left. Most of the time you're looking straight because you got weeklies and you're doing this and you're doing buys. So it's very, very interesting. So James, how does this affect you on live streaming? Does that expand you out on live streaming as well?
No, I think for me personally, no. I think it could if I wanted it to. And I think maybe it will find its way to that. But what I think it does is it diversifies my website more, which leads to more bleed through sales on my through the website. I think it strengthens my website more than it strengthens my live sales, but I think that's maybe just me being closed-minded to the potential of it at this exact moment. Because I mean, there's certainly
get ready for CGC grading. CGC grading records. That's on its way.
It's been on its way. I've got a stack of records.
I'm just saying, it's coming now.
It's their
now that they know
that they bought.
There's a big elephant in the room also that I want to talk about, and that is the fast track to big stores like Walmart, Target, these stores that they already have distribution models to, they are going to, and they're working with on a major level. Why can't there now be a comic section in Walmart?
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm telling you. This opens so many doors to our industry. This industry, our industry show talks to every creator. They got started picking up a comic on a spinning rack at a 7-Eleven while drinking a Slurpee out of a Marvel cup. Okay. Diamond had no plan for that. Okay. I suggest to Marvel, DC, and Image a plan to get us into the movie theaters when people gave a shit. Okay. not before, not before, the last 2 flops or 3 flops. Okay. To get us in at the height. Diamond didn't think that was necessary because they controlled the market. That's one of their hubris was part of their undoing. Okay. But this is a company that knows how to, if you've never gone to the vinyl section of Walmart, go there. You can find everything you want vinyl wise. And this puts our industry into that mix. It might not be Larry's Niobe number 4 in a floppy form, but if you don't think they can figure out a way to take the soundtrack for a movie and do a comic insert for it, or something like that to bring an extra value to the things that they're pitching Walmart, if you don't think that they can't put some product in there that's a trade paperback rack of the hot new TV show, Last of Us, you know what I'm saying? Put the Last of Us trade paperback in the Walmart entertainment section. They are going to open doors this industry has had shut on them for too long.
Right. Well, here's my point, and I've been talking about this all week with you two and on my pages. And this helps me out tremendously, folks. So am I shooting myself in the foot? Absolutely, I'm shooting myself in the foot. So when I'm able to go to my favorite store up the street, who has the Watchman set sealed, right? Completely sealed. This weighs about probably 8-10 pounds, 12 hardcovers in the thing. And guess how much this retails for? $125. Well, my favorite place sells this for $24. And guess what? I get 15% off.
And guess what? As a loyal retailer of DC comic books, not one of the 1,200 stores that exist was given that opportunity to buy that to make a profit.
Right. So
that's what your industry gave you. That's what the industry that you've invested in.
You let me finish my
Sorry,
point.
go ahead.
So my point is that it would cost us $62.50 to get this book.
Yeah.
So if this guy is selling it for $24.99, that means he's paying $12.99. So we need to get it so that it's even for the comic book stores, but then the comic book stores also have to be buying right. And they have to be turning their products, so they're not going to be in debt by paying $65 for something that can't sell. Dennis,
Okay.
now you can.
So let me ask you guys something really quick here.
I gotta go.
Billy,
Okay.
thank you,
I gotta
brother.
go.
Yep.
Appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys go
See you
check
guys.
out Economics
I'm
and
really
Comics.
excited though.
Yeah.
I think we're all excited, right?
Amen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
Yep.
We're all excited.
Yep.
This is
Absolutely.
positive.
All right.
Yeah.
See you later. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
Positive.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm
All
going
right,
on the corner right now to sell comics to people driving by. I'm so excited.
So here's my question I want to ask, okay? And we're going to get back to this. This is the conversation that's been in the chat all night. How do the small publishers like Larry with Niobe Comics, what do they do now to get their books in LCSs and get their books to retailers? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think they have to do the hard work like they've always had to do. I don't
Yep.
think anything changes with that.
Never change.
They have to reach out to stores. If they're not afraid of sending digital copies to store owners, I'd gladly read any book Larry sent me and talk about it to my customers if I was sent a copy to read first. But I'm not willing to take a gamble on small press publishing. I will not take the gamble.
Here's
I
the
won't.
thing.
I refuse to. Unless I have a bunch of customers asking me for a book, then I'll look into it.
Okay,
Here's
that's
the
a great
thing.
point. Yeah, that's a great point.
Indie press is all about the indie publisher's vision. You have to create that vision into a product, but it doesn't end there. You might convince the Diamond retailer board that you need to be in Diamond. That's 5 or 10 retailers. That it doesn't stop there. You may Twitter about, hey, look what I drew on page 32 of my new book. And if there's not enough people that see your vision, like Brian McKay over here sharing on the market report. Hey, look at this dope artist. Oh man, we all need to pay attention to this. You have to work at every level to sell your product. And it doesn't end when the dumbass retailers that you convinced your vision was good, because the retailer isn't going to sell it. They're going to buy it. They're going to put it on their shelf. And if it only sells 2 copies and they ordered 5, they're going to order 2 copies or 3 the next time. And if it only sells 1 this time after that, they're going to drop it to 1 and sell through. You have to sell your vision at every level, and that nothing changed with this, except for you don't have a crutch that Diamond would push your product for you
and overprint your product, and sometimes devalue your product because you think that 1,500 of my books are going to local comic shops right now, but no, 500 of them are, and there's 1,000 sitting in a case or a couple cases in the Diamond warehouse, and nobody's really seeing your product. You might be in Diamond previews, and it might be in a couple shops, but the majority of the copies that you think are out in local comic shops probably aren't if you're a small publisher or small press guy. Small creator.
Emmett, you want to go or I'll go? You go.
Yeah, I think that you're just going to have to con it until you make it. Just hit every single con. Forget about New York. Forget about San Diego. You need to hit Baltimore, Heroes Con, MegaCon. Like MegaCon's getting up there too, but and pitch your book to everybody until all those people go back to their comic shops and go, listen, I need number 2. I got this from the guy at the con, and it's a great book. I love it. I need number 2. That's like it's pretty much what Jen is saying is you can't stop. It has to be just constant, and to build that 3,000 fan base who will buy 1 through 4, and then when you rename it 1 through 4, and then when you rename it 1 through 4, right? And then you get the trade paperbacks. If you get them into the book market, you won't even have to pass them on. It'll be somebody in the book market doing it.
Yeah.
And then that's where your big return will be.
Yep.
And then you own the IP, and you don't own, nobody owns you, but it's a lot of freaking work.
Yep. Yeah. So my thought process for a small press is positive thoughts, positive results. You need to stay positive all the time. I will tell you, I am watching a buddy destroy his company because he can't be positive on any post. He's gotten 13 negative posts to where the point I turn him off. When I see his product, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the negative guy. I don't want that, right? So you got to be positive. People are watching what you say. And if they like you and you're positive, they're going to buy product. But if you're negative, they won't buy your product and they won't tell people about your product. So my job working with small press people is, how do you keep people excited? How do you keep people watching you? How do you get someone to like your post that you post a new book on? That's how you sell product. Our best people that sell product at the highest level, both in retail, big box, live streaming, and web pages, we are light.
Jesse,
a great experience.
Jesse, have you ever met Larry Niobe in the chat?
No, I've never met him.
Yeah,
I know
he's been
who
on the
he is.
show.
I think we've talked once.
Has Larry ever contacted you and said, Jesse, I would love to come to one of your live shows and sell books for you?
No.
I would like to sell my books on you.
Last time we talked, he called me drastic, so I don't buy them.
Okay, well, maybe not pissing off the #1 live seller in the country is a smart idea to sell your books.
No,
Larry's a firecracker, man. Yeah, it's just the way he is. He's a firecracker.
But I'm just saying, there are ways to do it. And just saying, hey, I'm in Diamond, why aren't you buying my book, is not it.
Yeah. It's such a different world. And I know we keep saying that. And you're on a different playing field now. And the playing field is so different that you might not even know the game yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's that different. Things are changing so fast. Technology is changing things even faster. and we have to just grab something and catch on. And sometimes luck is a big part of that. I hate to say it, but the most important part of that is just hard work and continuing to
Let's
push your
talk
product.
about him since he's in the chat. Mark Spears.
Mark Spears,
He tried to sell that book to every publisher in the country. Probably even contacted a few out of the country. Everyone said no. Did he just go, well, I can't get in Diamond. I gotta give up my dream. How am I gonna? No, he said, I'll do it myself. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And now he's the most talked about indie creator in the space.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Mark is a likable guy. I think that helps him. I don't buy stuff based on, well, this guy's the #1 cover artist. I buy it because, hey, you know what? I like him. I'm going to support him.
You know, the game has changed so much in the world where back in the day, bands, comic book creators and artists and writers, you had no idea what they looked like, what they sounded like, what they were into. You just knew a name and you liked their art or you liked their music. That's all you knew.
I love watching those music videos from 1979 to 1984 where you could be the most hideous, bearded, kind of a love-handled artist, and you had a top-selling album, and the second MTV came along, you're fucking out of there.
Yep.
It's David Lee Roth, Motley Crue, and Michael Jackson. Go fuck yourselves.
Yep.
To what Jesse said, like, it's so Doug, who, I did cover for his book. I've supported Doug from the moment I met him because of how passionate he was about comics, the way he sold himself, and I mean, it helps that he's a fantastic writer. And I love, just reading his work, but he's become a friend, and I will support no matter where he publishes, no matter what he does, anything he does, I will be at the top of the hill screaming about it. Because of who he is and because of the connections that we've made. So I think that's important too. Like Jesse said, if you are an indie publisher, make those connections and make those connections be memorable in a positive way.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then that certainly helps because we stay interested. I'm always interested in what Doug's working on next. I hit him up during COVID. I hit him up and was like, hey, Doug, what are you doing to keep busy? And he goes, dude, I just wrote 5 new stories. And I already know the synopsis for the next 3 books he's putting out because I was interested in it and I reached out to him as a friend, and stuff like that. But I did want to point something out. As excited as we all are that we now have easier access. I would say we've always had this access. We have easier access to things that maybe round out our businesses a little bit better. I would imagine on the other side of this, there's a bunch of record store owners and record retailers that are going, holy shit, this is awesome. And they're already planning what wall they're putting trade paperbacks on.
Great point.
Yeah.
And as far as the future of comics, and we talk about this all the time on every show, every Beyond Wednesday show, every Brian McClay produced anything. The question is how do we grow comics? And this is how you grow comics, because this puts comics back in toy stores. This puts comics in record shops. This puts comics back in Walmart, in Targets. This puts comics in some form or another, whether it's floppies or trades. It puts it back in easy access. It puts it back in grocery stores. And I'm going to get to the thing that we've been like, this is what comics needs to do. We've been saying this forever. This is what comics need. This is what DC needs to do. This is what Marvel needs to do. This is what Diamond needs to do. This does this. That's what's exciting.
Yeah.
Even if I did nothing with this, I'm excited about the future of comics because of this.
Yeah. If that company decides not to do comics, it's what happens in business whenever there's a vacuum. Somebody's going to step in.
Yep.
Yeah. Lunar and Penguin will gladly
or
swallow
Massive.
up the rest
Maybe
of that.
Massive will take up the, take up the slack. Who knows?
Or maybe some online retailer who does a ton of shipping and knows what they're doing just takes on the small press. Look, I got all these customers. Now it increases their business, not only in the taking care of the distribution for them, But if you have an online business, you're then selling the books and you have the exclusive to these small press. Anybody that wants it comes through you.
You
So
know what I
get
would.
the hit through the
Sorry,
both.
go ahead. Yeah. You know what I would love to see, and I'm just putting this out there. I don't know what reaction this is going to have, but wouldn't it be amazing if something happened where, like, whether it's another distributor pops up for publishers and creators like that, or and maybe that distributor is Nikki. Maybe that's Nikki. Maybe Nikki works with Alliance and says, "Hey, let me be your comics, your inroad into the comics world. Let me help you with that." And I hope that that Dynamite and Nick finds that road to maybe to be that. I know that he made some comments on the show, at some point during the year that 2025 was he was gonna take some major risks. And I don't know, maybe that's one of the risks. And who knows? I hope that can be something that happens.
Dennis, real fast. Josh Jeppy has been watching the whole show.
Oh,
he said, "Everybody, thank you very much for the kind words." He's then go to sleep. We're up too late for him, but Josh enjoyed the show, so that was great to have Josh in spirit with us watching. So,
but here's the thing: this is not the end of the Jeppy family.
No,
they have endured so long and have been such a vital part of this industry, and they pivoted all along the way. There's just some times where you can't pivot out of the last position you put yourself in. But I guarantee you, these guys are going to come up with something else, and they're going to find a way to pivot into what that's going to make them happy. And good luck to them, man. And luckily, somebody saw the value in the company that family built and put their dick on the table and offered up a legitimate amount of money to say, we'll take it from here, guys.
Yeah. Well, unreal stuff.
There's one thing in business, you got to collect your debts, man.
Yeah.
Can't let people ride.
Yeah, I think the important thing to learn tonight is these guys have put in a bid. And as he has said, as Bruce has said, we weren't able to get all the information.
Right.
So they're going to open up the books and find out XYZ owes XYZ, and that person is going to be applying for Alliance. And then that's when those discussions will happen. Like he said, he's not a bank. And so I think it's going to be very interesting. You got to give this time. It just launched today. Bruce coming on the show, I think that was amazing. It tells me about the company who is willing to come out and talk, right, and speak in front of people, which is very important. So I think the Jeppies are going to be fine. Obviously, I have more information that I can't give out right now, but very good stuff for them. I think they're going to be in very good shape. I did want to bounce back to the Ollie's thing. Listen, I went in to 4 Ollie's and they had dedicated space for DC Comics.
Yep.
And they had over 60 titles on one table.
My personal opinion is either A, that came from Amazon unsold stock that DC decided to sell to them rather than move through Discount Comic Book Service and Lunar to retailers, or this is Lunar cleaning out their warehouses because they got to make room for all of the new refugees that they just took on when this thing went down.
No, Ollie's been getting them for years.
No, I understand that, but
DC's been dumping their books there for a long time.
Right. But what I'm saying is there's a hub to get this to retailers, and DC, your buddies at DC didn't bother to say, F you very much. They took it and sent it straight to Ollie's rather than offer that incredible deal that Jesse is driving from store to store.
Yeah, and here's the crazy
Marvel
part.
at least had the dollar trade paperback sales.
Yeah.
Marvel had the dollar poster sales. Marvel had BOGO poster sales. BOGO trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibus sales. Marvel did all of that for retailers. DC rarely ever did that, and Ollie's is why.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Ollie's is opening 60 new stores.
Yep.
So they're not going to open the 60 new stores unless they have a
Enough.
letter of intent to fill those stores from DC and Marvel.
Mhm.
Because they have to fill that spot. That's their number one selling spot. So we are looking at local comic book stores. We're looking at web sellers. We're looking at live streamers. We're looking at big box, and then we're looking at discount warehouses. So if you got to find your niches, and you got to find what makes sense to you. Just because a DC book is on sale at Ollie's for $5.99 and it's a $40 book doesn't mean I buy it. If I can't sell it for $10, I'm not going to buy it, or $12, whatever double that is. So it's very, very interesting on where we're going. And the notion is, I think for someone who today says, I'm going to open up a local comic book store. I don't think they say that anymore. I think they say, I'm going to open up a store that sells cool collectible stuff.
Yep. I agree. I think that, again, nostalgia too, right? So,
right. Nostalgia and all that. I did want to bring up a thing about a content creator who had said, there's been a lot of collections coming in this year. When will it stop? And I wanted to let that person know that over 1,000 collections come in every week to comic book stores. Out of those 1,000 collections, about 10 to 15% are big collections. This will never stop. This will go on forever. And if it ever stops, the only reason why it's the stop is because we've had World War III and no one's selling books, right? Because people sell their collection. Sometimes it's not up to them because they pass away and their kids say, what the hell am I supposed to do with these comics? I'm taking it to the store to sell it. So I just wanted to point that out. Thousands of collections are sold every single week for at least since 1982, since I've been doing this.
oh yeah, man.
It's the gateway, right? That's the gateway to comic book stores selling back issues. Where do you think they get their back issues from?
Yeah, I get, if I go 3 days without something coming in, I start freaking out. I'm like, we got to do an ad, we got to do an Instagram, I got to push something on Facebook. Bring us collections. We're buying cash.
It is so funny. Most comic book collectors will say, holy cow, I got an extra $500 this week. Let's see. Hey, honey, we'll go out to Arby's on Sunday night. Okay, let me see what I can buy on the sell list.
Yeah.
With that $490.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA. We have to buy.
Yeah.
It's the most craziest thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's crying about the economy. That my sales are better than ever.
Yeah, but keep in mind when it is down, people need therapy. They need spending therapy. So what do? They get some comic book therapy.
Yep, comic book therapy. And by the way, comic book therapy this weekend, you guys. We got WonderCon happening this weekend, which is going to be very interesting. There was a really cool McFarlane Spawn book that's been announced, a Brett Booth wraparound cover. And McFarlane will be there signing. Jim Lee will also be there. So there's probably going to be something for Jim there. Not only that, we got a guy who's in our chat right now who has a cover and a book that is coming out exclusively at WonderCon this year. The Zartan G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 315 Mark Spears exclusive will be available at Big Clutch's table starting off at WonderCon this year, and then you'll be able to buy it at the end of April in Huntsville Con from Mark's table there. But a couple things I want to announce here on the show. I suggest people watch Beyond Wednesdays tomorrow night to find out a little bit more interesting information about this. And a big congratulations to Mark for an amazing thing. He was contacted by the one, the only, the GOAT, Mr. Robbie L. Rob Liefeld, to do a Youngblood variant cover And look at what Rob posted on his his Twitter today. This amazing Mark Spears Youngblood variant are now available in his Whatnot store. Listen to that, you guys. One of the biggest creator in the game is on a live selling platform, selling one of the biggest new artists in the game works on his live selling platform. And that is the cover, the Mark Spears Youngblood #1 variant that is available. Look at how badass that is.
How dare he?
That's great.
How, I gotta say this, how dare he completes that whole cover corner to corner, corner to corner, top to bottom. There is no empty space. How dare he does that? Holy cow.
Look at that.
Where does this guy find? Is that not awesome? If
It is.
You know, I sell a ton of Scotty Young covers, and when I look at Scotty Young and you see the picture and you see all the white in the background, it's like, why can't you cover that? That's driving me nuts. And then I see this cover, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. I saw the background before I saw the front.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mark says only so many are available, so grab one quick.
Yeah.
Damn. That's cool.
Yeah, that is great. And here's a prime example of someone who's not, dedicated to one publisher. He's out there getting his name out there. He's doing covers. And trust me, these people don't come to Mark, a Rob Liefeld, a Todd McFarlane, a Brian Polito. All these guys don't come to him unless there's something that they like about him, right? They're not going to do a cover with someone they don't like.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, right? It has to have some synergy to it. So this is how you do it, folks. So if you're in the room and you're saying, how do I get your books out there? You just always have to be drawing. You have to be selling yourself as a brand. And that's how you do it.
Yep. Creating,
He doesn't have
writing.
to be. He does not have to be on the Industry of Comics show at 12:09 a.m., but he is. That's the cool part about it.
Well, good stuff there, you guys. Great show tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody that has joined us. We are at the 3-hour mark, and we had a lot of information tonight. I want to say thanks again to Bruce for taking his time out of his day. I know that he's got some precious, our time is precious, you guys. We don't realize that until we get older, how precious that time is. And thanks, Bruce, to spending an hour with us, hour and a half with us, talking about Diamond and, where that's going to be in the future and what that's going to look like under Alliance Entertainment. We don't know yet, but we're all excited and looking forward to seeing what it can be, and it's going to be something interesting, that's for sure. So that being said,
just real quick, just so you know, you can go to Alliance now and sign up. You can go to AENT.com and you can sign up right now.
Yep. And
one more time.
What is it?
AENT.com.
AENT.com. You can find the link in the description as well.
AVN.com. Go check out AVN. No, AENT.
What is that? I don't know. I've never been
Holy
there.
cow, pray tell.
Yeah. So that'll be very interesting. We're going to keep our eyes on this, and hopefully we hear more information as it happens. Listen, retailers, I hope that the next couple of years is nothing but positive for you, and I hope that if you're watching the show and there's something that you learned through this show or through these guys on the panel with me right now, I hope you guys liked it enough to hit the like button, subscribe if you did like it, check out all these guys' stuff. You can find all their links below for their own projects, including their YouTube channels and their retail stores, whether it's online or brick and mortar. They are all doing great things. Make sure to check them out. And WonderCon this weekend. Again, I'll be hanging out with this guy too, one of these guys, Drew from Wanted Comics. Gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, going to be some craziness going on at WonderCon. I don't know what we're going to be doing, if we're going to be doing anything on Saturday night or Friday. I won't be around for the Hot 10, but it'll be in good hands with Yee, and they'll go old school. And I don't know what's going to happen if Modern Comic Mayhem is going to happen Saturday night. I probably doubt it, but you never know what will pop up over there. But
Does the con start on Thursday?
con starts on Thursday. I'll be
No,
heading
it's
out
preview
Thursday
night.
morning. Yep.
Preview night Thursday, and then okay.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, so we'll see how it all plays out. But that being said, thank you guys, and shout out to all the new members of the channel. There will be new members content coming soon. We have a new members only show where I will be reading YouTube viewer comments, not only for my own videos, but other videos in the comic book content creators zeitgeist of YouTube. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and that'll be one of many new members only segments for Beyond Wednesday channels. We'll see you guys soon. Adios.